In people's memory, Australia is a place where housing costs are high and people of all of the age and incomes have the opportunity to have housing and job opportunities. But property ownership is especially for the low income among all Australians under the age of 65. Earning a house increasingly depends on who your parents are, and it has changed a lot from 35 years ago. Home ownership rates are high for all income levels. Those who with low income, more and more reasons use more of the income to rent a housing. Since Australia experienced a major economic depression around the 1930s, the collapse of the financial market led to the downturn to the real estate market from 1880 to 1950. The real estate market in Australia has been in a stable period for 70 years. The first reason is that the real estate market is in the early stage of the reform of the prevalent system is not perfect. The second reason is that the unique Australian economic based on agriculture and mining develops slowly, which can hardly drive the demand of the real estate market. Housing prices in Australia have grown much faster than income, especially since the mid-1990s. In the long run, housing prices in all cities and all regions rising rapidly. Does it change every year? The average price has risen from 2 to 3 times the average disposable income in the 1980s. From the early 1990s, about 5 times the current average price. From about 4 times the median income in early 1990s to more than 7 times today up. Then we talk about the Australian dream. Australians' privileged and huge urban structures have in turn led to the structuring and the practical relations. In the remote suburbs, women are domestically staged or one-stop field trafficked. In addition to extrapolating the gender equality, the pursuit of the universal house ownership also exploited equally between house privates and the public rental houses, has become a poor and semi-skilled and unskilling workers, and during the periods of housing use private sectors of dynamics. The housing markets ensure that housing price inflation is high and in areas with the highest housing prices. In addition, housing ownership is not only its harm of the distribution of the income and the wealth, and it has also harm to the production of the wealth, with huge amount of money being invested in non-productive existing housing turnover costs in Australia's industrial development. Finally, collective house ownership has always been responsible for Australians' relative small welfare state. The allocation of the house loan relating to the housing costs of the reduce the needs of the both parties. It is well developed and a universal welfare system. To sum up, the prevalent view regards house ownership of the great Australian dream for colony. Political success no longer supports mass ownership of the house. To accurately describe as an economy, political, cultural, and housing nightmare ideological. But what's the future of the Australian housing market at? Influenced by the coronavirus last year, the housing market has been in a great turmoil. Australia has experienced an economic recession, but the real estate market is still going very strong. We all look forward to the development of this country. So would you expect some improvement, but almost 100% growth in a year? Do you think the value of the new home loans in March this year will be surprise record sets the mining boom? When property prices in Perth rose, it's almost the same levels as Sydney, and it's not just like Washington in the U.S. All states have been the surge of the house loan supported with the stimulation programs, such as the House Builder program of the majority of the stability of the home buyers. This will boost employment in the construction sectors, reflecting the fact that increased construction of house purchases in the man-occupied and the owner-occupiers. Then there are also the big increase in approvals for the new apartments in the next year, as well as the big increase in approval for the home loans by investors. Not only that, but the sustainable investment for the investor and also the market self-occupied housing is a very high degree.